Okay, I'll go ahead and call this Manchester Community Schools Board of Trustees meeting to order on Tuesday, January 25th at 6 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Raymer.
Present.
Mr. Booker.
Here.
Mr. Brubaker.
Here.
Mr. Esposito is absent. Mr. Shaw.
Present.
Mr. Hensley is absent. Mr. Turflinger is here. Additions or deletions, we have a deletion of Heidi Ream, the MIS paraprofessional resignation. Do you have anything else, Mr. Wheeler?
No, that's it.
Okay. Hearing of patrons on agenda items only. Okay. Recommendations for approval, personnel, employment. Mr. Wheeler.
So we have Jeff Camphus as the volunteer softball coach for the assistant softball coach for the high school. Joshua Sistrunk as the robotics club sponsor for MES. Adam Marlott is our head volleyball coach at the high school. And then Michael Pachlowski, I believe, he's going to be helping out with the musical as a volunteer. He's someone associated with the Wagon Wheel. So, and then resignation, we just have one, Olivia Helton as a paraprofessional at MIS.
I'd entertain a motion for the recommendations of approval under 3.11 employment and 3.12 resignations.
So moved.
Mr. Raymer,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Booker. Any discussion or comment?
Just once again, a couple of these are volunteers, so we always appreciate all of the support that we continue to get from community members, so thank you to all these individuals.
All in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
Okay, 5-0, nobody opposed. Now we have the reserves and liquidity policy. Mr. Wheeler, you doing that or Tanya?
So all three of these are policies. We did a read through on the last meeting for that first reading. And a big part of this is basically putting some policies in place as far as what we're currently already doing, but will help us with our bond rating in the future. And so that reserves and liquidity, a big part of that is putting a number on our cash reserves, is trying to get to that point where we have 45 days worth in our various funds for the cash reserve. Once again, this is more guidance and goals of what we were trying to do, not a requirement for staying at that amount. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that's our, it's a goal, that's trying to be good fiscal stewards of the taxpayer dollars that are in our funds.
I'll make a motion to approve this reserves and liquidity policy.
You want to do them all? Can we do them all together, Mark?
Each separately.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a motion to approve 3.2 reserves and liquidity policy on the second reading. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Brubaker, any further discussion or questions? Okay, Mr. Raymer,
Yes.
Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Brubaker,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries 5-0.
The next one is the investment of school funds, and the good part about this one, and as well as the next one, is a lot of this is guided by Indiana code as far as what we can do. And so we put that in writing. That's basically complying with what we will do. And am I correct that part of this policy is that you will report on the investments?
Yes.
Which is also something we already do, but it's just saying that we will do it, so.
I'd entertain a motion to pass 3.3, the investment policy on the second reading.
So moved.
Mr. Brubaker,
I'll second.
Mr. Raymer, second. Any questions, comments? Okay, I will start. I vote yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Brubaker?
Yes.
Mr. Bucher?
Yes.
Mr. Raymer?
Yes.
Okay, 5-0, motion passes.
And the final one is the debt management policy. And once again, there's a lot of guidance of what we can do or should be doing. And so we did put that in writing. It helps us guide kind of how we're taking on debt and the limit to our debt, which once again is all kind of controlled on by Indiana code anyways. So do you have anything you want to add on that one?
I'm just pleased that we're putting this in writing so that we have this going forward, and that we have this as we go forward with our bond ratings.
I would entertain a motion to pass 3.4 of the debt management policy on the second reading.
So moved.
Mr. Raymer? Mr. Brubaker, any further discussion or questions? Okay, Mr. Raymer?
Yes.
Mr. Bucher?
Yes.
Mr. Brubaker?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Discussion information.
I don't have anything.
Superintendent comment, or I'm sorry, public comments? Nope, Nick's not here, so.
Poor Nick.
He missed his chance. Well, first of all, board, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I know that this was not a regularly scheduled board meeting. It was a work session, but there were some policies we needed to put in place. I went down to the Indianapolis today, and we had our legislative session for our superintendents in the region. And I felt like it was a very positive conversation. It was my first opportunity to meet Craig Snow, who is our state rep, and I got to talk to him a little bit about how they're redrawing the boundaries as well. And so our district will eventually be split. He'll still be covering kind of Laketon, that area, but the rest of us will be drawn over to the Huntington area with I'm trying to think of the representative who's in that area right now. Leonard. Yeah, and then
Dan Leonard.
Yep, and then Senator Zay was also there. So I didn't sit with him, but I did have some brief conversations, and I believe we have something set up once short session is over with for him to come and visit our school corporation. So I'm looking forward to that. So it looks like some of the policies that are in regards to education, they're changing an awful lot. So, we did have some pretty big concerns. Some of those things have gotten nixed, so I will make sure to keep you informed as things progress, especially with those ones that will affect us. We had a big success last Friday, and we're hoping, Mr. Self, have we had any progress on news?
They're talking about all the bad news first, and it's coming to us.
Fair enough. So we had a couple teachers, Mr. Hooks and Mr. Pierce, who are relatively new teachers to our corporation, but they had worked with some students to put together, a proposal for a science project or experiment that they would like to have taken place in suborbital space, and they submitted that to TechRise, which is basically affiliated with NASA. And so we did get confirmation last Friday that out of the 600 proposals nationwide, We were one of 57 that got selected, and we were the only one from Indiana who got selected to go on Blue Origin, which is the rocket, which some of them are going to suborbital space in balloons. I think rockets are a lot cooler, so I was happy that's the way we went. So congratulations to those students. The 21 Alive came today and basically did an interview today, I guess, with our students and our teachers. And so that's supposed to be on the 6 o'clock news. So we were hoping
It's right here.
we might be there.
Let me pause it. I have that. It's amazing how you timed your report.
See, I was dragging it out a little bit, hoping for the best.
Come on. Let's see if we got it on.
Ultimately lead to fewer people voting.
That's always a good thing, right?
What, fewer people voting?
A real space flight. More than 600 schools applied for NASA's TechRise Student Challenge, submitting their experiment proposals. 57 were chosen, including a project from Manchester Junior Senior High School. STEM students from Manchester say they wanted to test the effectiveness of lubricants in microgravity. With $1,500 in funding from NASA, they will build their experiment and send it into space on a Blue Origin rocket.
And we're going to set aside time, both in and outside of school, to make sure that it gets built and quality tested, prototyped until we're satisfied with how it's going to run. And then we'll send it off.
This was a great opportunity for us to cross-collaborate between engineering and physics.
There are a lot of schools, and I know there's a lot of talented, smart people out there, but I think our school did a really good job of showing that.
And it's just exciting to see an opportunity for the students to experience something that they're going to see in the work world.
Me personally, the first job I ever remember wanting to have is to be a rocket scientist.
Building something that is going to have real-world implications, this is going to be a fantastic experience, a lot of real-world experience.
That is so cool. This class is making Northeast Indiana proud, and that Blue Origin rocket will launch in early next year. There's more to come here at 6. Some of the best high school sharpshooters.
Yeah.
So I'd like to take full credit for that. However, they submitted that proposal before I was even hired on. So, but I think that's a huge compliment to, what we continue to provide here. I mean, those students didn't learn a love for science just this year. It's something that's been fostered along the way. Our corporation's done a great job of supporting student interest and giving them opportunities for, advanced and enhanced opportunities. So, this is awesome. I mean, we're doing a ton of cool things, but I think it also supports our move to, in all of the work to become STEM certified K-12 last year. So this is just one more example. So congratulations to those students and the teachers. I know that they put a lot of hard work into the proposal, but now it just means that they have more hard work to do. And I felt like signing all the paperwork with NASA and Blue Origin, I felt like I was signing my life away. So I feel good about it now, though. So that's all I have.
Hey, Kyle, can I say, I was in here for the interviews, and our kids and teachers, but the kids did an absolutely fabulous job, and you saw it there. But I mean, that was a long process, and they made sure to get the snippets that really talked about what our kids were doing, and so our kids really made us proud.
I just have one question. Are we going to see them at the next board meeting?
I don't know if it'll be at the next one, but they will be at a board meeting. There was something else kind of already in the works for the next one, but
Okay.
we'll make sure we get them here. Yep.
Any other school board comments?
Thanks for working on that, Randy. And also, Mr. Whelan, thank you for signing your life away for that. That's amazing. So.
Anybody else? I just have a quick reminder, February 2nd, we have an executive session scheduled here at 5:30. If you could arrive a few minutes early, would be helpful. And on February the 8th at 5:30, the building corporation for the bond will have a meeting immediately before our regular board meeting on February the 8th. And that's all I have.
That's scheduled for 5:30.
5:30, right?
Okay, just making sure. Yep.
Yeah. Building corporation meeting at 5:30, board meeting at 6 o'clock. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Raymer and Mr. Brubaker, all in favor? Thank you very much for coming.
So Gabe.
Were you representing Nick
One that was in the center.
Yeah.
Participates
Just
in
don't talk as much as him.
Ninja Warrior.
We always like to put him on the spot.
He's got his own course built in their backyard.
There's a lot of people doing that these days.
I think this must be why he stopped playing basketball. 'Cause he's a heck of a basketball player.
Only every board meeting.
That. Really?
At early voting sites during the 2020 election and say this will ultimately lead to fewer people voting. Students from North Manchester will soon have the opportunity to see their class project tested on board a real space flight. More than 600 schools applied for NASA's TechRise Student Challenge, submitting their experiment proposals. 57 were chosen, including a project from Manchester Junior-Senior High School. STEM students from Manchester say they wanted to test the effectiveness of lubricants in microgravity. With $1,500 in funding from NASA, they will build their experiment and send it into space on a Blue Origin rocket.
And we're going to set aside time, both in and outside of school, to make sure that it gets built and quality tested, prototyped until we're satisfied with how it's going to run. And then we'll send it off.
This was a great opportunity for us to cross-collaborate between engineering and physics.
There are a lot of schools, and I know there's a lot of talented, smart people out there, but I think our school did a really good job of showing that.
And it's just exciting to see an opportunity for the students to experience something that they're going to see in the work world.
Me personally, the first job I ever remember wanting to have is to be a rocket scientist.
Building something that is going to have real world implications. This is going to be a fantastic experience, a lot of real world experience.
That is so cool. This class is making Northeast Indiana proud, and that Blue Origin rocket will launch in early next year. There's more to come.